If you're an immigrant in the US or you have family waiting for a green card, you need to hear this. Because there's a brand new update in 2025 that could change everything. Your green card might suddenly feel less safe. If you're not prepared, there's a real risk, losing your status or even deportation in extreme cases. Stay with me, because today I'm breaking down those shocking changes calmly, clearly, and slowly so you can protect yourself and your family. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Legal Focus USA. I'm your name, and I'm committed to giving you honest, easy-to-understand updates about immigration rules so you're never caught off guard. What I'm going to tell you may sound scary, but knowledge is power. Let's walk through exactly what's changing for green card holders in 2025, what it could mean for you, and the exact steps you should take to stay safe. Before we dive in, I want to say I'm not your lawyer, but I care about your peace of mind. Use this video to get informed, and then talk to a qualified immigration attorney if you have any questions about your personal situation. Let's begin with what's new. In early 2025, the federal government introduced tighter enforcement and a new verification system for all permanent residents, green card holders. Under this new plan, immigration officers and certain federal agencies now have broader access to your background, travel history, employment records, and even proof of residence. What this means is that green cards could be reviewed, not just at renewal time, but at random if you now meet certain new risk criteria. For example, suppose you recently changed jobs, or had a long overseas trip, or temporarily moved in with relatives for a few months. Under the old rules, none of that normally triggered a second look. But starting this year, those circumstances alone may be enough to require a full review. That review could examine whether you're still living in the U.S. as your primary home, whether you meet the income or self-sufficiency threshold, whether any of your recent social benefits could be considered a public charge, or whether you've had suspicious gaps in employment or residence. If the reviewing officer concludes, even mistakenly, that you no longer meet the standard, your green card can be marked as under review. In a worst-case scenario, you might be ordered to appear for a hearing, or even given a notice of intent to deny or to revoke your status. That's right. A permanent residence status could now be jeopardized, not just because of a criminal conviction, but simply because of new background or residency scrutiny. To make matters more stressful, there are no longer fixed thresholds in many cases. For example, previously, you might have had to be outside the U.S. for 6 months or more to risk abandonment of residence. Under 2025's update, even absences of a few months, depending on your overall history, may now raise red flags. The government gave itself a lot of discretion. That uncertainty is scary. But here's the thing, if you're careful, informed, and proactive, you can protect your status. So let me walk you through, step by step, what you should do right now and what to watch out for over the next months. First, review your travel and residence history. Think about every time you left the U.S. in the past 2 or 3 years. How long were you away? Did you spend months living abroad or returning only briefly? Write down the dates. Yes, literally on paper or a spreadsheet if that works better for you. This history may matter if the government asks. If any absence was longer than 30 days, that could raise questions under the new rules. Second, gather proof that the U.S. is your real home. That includes lease or mortgage documents, utility bills, bank statements with U.S. addresses, employment pay stubs, income tax returns, anything showing you live, earn, and spend most of your life here. If you have family members who depend on you or you support children, having documentation that shows you're the main provider helps too. Third, if you've changed jobs or had gaps in work, write down every job period, even short-term or part-time work. If you have letters from employers, pay stubs, or even documentation of unemployment benefits, keep them. Under the new rules, officers might view gaps or unstable income with suspicion. Having proof you tried to stay financially stable, even during hard times, can help protect you. Fourth, avoid long absences abroad when possible. If you need to travel to your home country for a family emergency, that's understandable, but try to keep trips short and return before 3 to 4 weeks. If you must stay longer, have a clear plan and documents showing when you came back. Maybe show a return ticket or a note from your doctor or employer. Fifth, if you receive public benefits, especially cash benefits, be careful. Under the new enforcement guidelines, certain kinds of aid could count against you, especially if your benefits are seen as long-term or if you don't have steady income. This doesn't mean that all benefits are banned, but it does mean that what used to be safe may now raise scrutiny. If you rely on government aid, talk to a qualified immigration attorney before renewing or applying for more assistance. Sixth, keep your address current with U.S. authorities. If you move, change jobs, or live temporarily with relatives or friends, make sure your mailing address on file is correct. If the government sends notices and you miss them because you moved, that can trigger serious complications. Seventh, prepare for potential interviews or status reviews. Even if you've had clear papers for years, the new system may trigger random checks, so treat your green card status like something valuable you must protect. Gather and preserve supporting documents just like you would for a mortgage or bank loan. Let me share a realistic example to show why this matters. Imagine Maria, who moved to California 5 years ago. She got her green card, worked odd jobs, raised 2 children, and paid rent on a small apartment. Last year, she spent 3 months visiting family in her home country, helping care for her elderly mother. She came back, resettled, and started working again. Under old rules, no problem. But under the new 2025 enforcement update, those 3 months away could trigger a review. If Maria doesn't have recent rent receipts, utility bills, or proof she returned to the U.S. in time, she might receive a letter saying her green card is under review. Suddenly, the life she built may feel uncertain. But Maria acted early. She gathered her pay stubs, her I-94 showing re-entry date, recent lease receipts, and a note from her children's school showing they're enrolled in U.S. schools. When she received her notice, she responded quickly, submitted the documents, and the review ended with no issues. She was relieved. Her case shows how documentation matters. When you are prepared, you reduce risk. Now, I know what you might be thinking. That sounds stressful. How often do they really check? It's true, not everyone will be reviewed immediately, but the key point is, the law changed. The discretion is wider now. That means surprise audits, random checks, and greater uncertainty. And for many immigrants who've lived here quietly for years, the risk was always low before. Now it's higher. Which brings me to important advice. Don't wait for a letter to arrive. Take steps now. Because once a review begins, you may have just 30 to 45 days to respond with documents. If you're missing proof, you may face prolonged uncertainty, or worse, denial of status. Also, think twice about big lifestyle changes. If you were planning a long visit abroad, or to move temporarily, or even apply for a loan, now might not be the best time. Plan carefully. If you have any doubts, consult with an immigration attorney you trust. A good lawyer can help you review your documents, advise whether your benefit use or travel history could be risky, and make a plan to safeguard your status. I want to be clear. This update does not mean every green card holder will lose their status. It does not mean everyone must panic. But it does mean awareness matters more than ever before. If you stay informed and proactive, you significantly reduce your risk. I'd like to end with a few words to all of you watching. I know how much heart and hope you've invested in building a life here in the United States. I know you worry for your children, your future, your security. These new immigration rule changes can feel scary. They can feel threatening. But remember, you have the right to stay, you have the right to defend your status, and being informed is your strongest weapon. If this video helped you understand what's happening, if it gave you peace of mind, or even if it raised questions, please subscribe to Legal Focus USA. I create regular updates and guides so immigrants like you stay protected and prepared. Hit the like button if you found it useful. share with friends, family, anyone who might be affected, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future updates. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next video.